What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Zabbix video. This time I will talk about Raspberry Pi and how to set up Zabbix proxy on the Raspberry Pi. And in this video I will go to sort of an extreme, like solving all the challenges which life can put you on. For example, like the SD card can die, or how to maintain the config of Zabbix proxy or install new user parameter. The idea of maintaining config is my fancy goal would be like I want to do that remotely, like from the central Zabbix server without SSHing into the Pi. And in this video I will provide like a solution or workaround how to do that. The main point like to create this video is because the Raspberry Pi official operating system actually supports read-only file system. You can completely mark the SD card for read-only access and enable, like, use the RAM, which is now in the model 4. You can have 4 gigabytes, 8 gigabytes of memory. You can use RAM to store all the logs and everything, and theoretically we can set up a Raspberry Pi which will last forever because no one is writing to the SD card, and that's awesome. Okay, by the way, yeah, check the timestamps of the video, like if you are interested in a very specific topic. Otherwise, let's start from scratch. And for full like disclosure, like I'm using this setup with this image, Raspberry Pi OS Lite 64-bit image, which is released in the November 19th in the year 2024, and also like inside the SSH I did update the system one time, and I did reboot the operating system. Now I will like launch a sort of script like which do everything for me and for you, and after while it's running, like I will explain what are bits and pieces. And to do the beginning, I prefer to create a file like script and putting here like the content inside the file, paste, and here you go. Saving the file like change mod +X to set it executable, and then I will launch this script and it's running. Now explaining like what is the like first of all, like this script is kind of protected. If one operation fails, it will not go to the next step, which is very convenient, which practically means we can rerun the snippet over and over again and it will not do any harm. It's not mandatory to flush the like write another SD card's image and start from scratch. It's fine to rerun the script again. Okay, so what happens here? We install Zabbix repository and we install the necessary packages. We are using Zabbix proxy with the SQLite free, installing agent at the same time. And the first important thing which I feel is necessary is completely erase the stock configuration file and install this include, which is pointing to the FAT32 partition. And what's the benefit? Like the benefit is for the Windows hardcore admins, the guys who or ladies who hate Linux by nature. Like later on we can like clone the SD card and they have access to this FAT32 partition, and they can kind of fine-tune the proxy after they wrote the SD card image. So that's like one challenge we can face in real life, like to deal with the IT administrator who are not comfortable with the Linux system. So we can fine-tune just by using the Windows, by plugging in the SD card. And then like all the config will be stored in the boot firmware, and there will be a folder Zabbix proxy.d, and same for the Zabbix agent. Okay, cleaning up some original directories, and now I'm installing the config without any comments. If you want to explore what are the options, like what are the possibilities, then just enter this link, which is pointing like to the stock config for the 7.0 proxy, and you can see all the attributes and explanation. And the main thing here, I have like allow root. Like I'm not sure if this project is super suitable for a company where the security is very tight, but for like flexibility maybe is the word. Like if you fancy to really control everything remotely by sacrificing the security, then like this is the stuff. And I'm like really evaluating, I value the flexibility over the security this time. So the proxy and agent will run under the Linux user root, which means like I can use proxy to restart agent if necessary. I can use proxy like to reboot the operating system and so on. And here the first setting, like out from the box, the cache on proxy is very small. This is the first big setting, like it's 0.5 GB, so it can be quite a beefy proxy. Also, I did out from the box, the log is storing the data forever, but now this is meaning like the log file will, the maximum size of log file can be 100 megabytes. So I want to not overload this so-called like file system overlay, so file system, which will actually use the memory, available memory. So with the Pi, with the 8 GB Pi, you will have kind of like 4 GB of free disk space, and I don't want to fool all 4, otherwise something wrong can happen. Also, I'm in the 7.0, the proxy can run everything in the memory, but this time, since the file system is using the memory, my preference is to actually write all the data in a database where you can troubleshoot. If you really want to know what gets inserted, that's then we can troubleshoot, and that's my argument why I choose disk this time. Okay, so this config has been pushed in the boot, and then like Windows administrator can also edit. If you feel you want to fine-tune some processes, then that's the way to go. For the agent, like we enable the root. Also the log file is only 100 megabytes. The remote commands are on, and like agent can do anything, like some bash commands or something. It can be done. And yeah, some service system definition to actually allow those services to run under the root. And like disabling, you know, like Raspberry Pi 4 out from the box enables the Wi-Fi adapter, which is, I don't think we need it. So we are disabling and shutting down that service completely. And now the big, like this is like install script to restart proxy if the config change. So this is my idea to solve this real life challenge, like how to maintain the config of Zabbix proxy. And the solution is we have a cron job which will run once per hour, and the cron job will kind of do a hash sum of the directory where the config is stored. If the hash sum does not change, MD5 sum, if the hash sum does not change, nothing will happen, no restart happen. And in the very moment some other means are changing the config, which is located inside this firmware. If some other dude is changing the config, then like in the next 1 hour, the cron job will automatically restart the component. So that's my idea, my best solution. It's like only 3 lines of or 4 lines of the bash script, which is doing the checksum of the directory and restart the service if necessary. And same story for the Zabbix agent, which will like have the service. Just on the right side, I will show that how it looks like. VI or like cat, and the magical script is here, this one, and like it consists with only 3 lines. So it's doing the hash sum of the of the directory which is stored in the FAT32 partition. If the hash some changes, only then it will restart the component, and yeah, that's the solution. Okay. Now, like, the packages are installed, everything is there. Like, how to enable this read-only file system? And officially in the Raspberry Pi, we run this Raspberry config, and there is a section performance options. Click, and here overlay file system enable, and here it asks, like, do I want to enable? Yes, I want, and it will install the necessary packages. And it will ask, do I want to enable also read-only for this other partition, like for the FAT32? And my answer will be no, because we barely write there anything. Like, all it stores is, like, I don't know, boot up kernel type of thing, and also Zabbix stuff, like Zabbix agent configuration file and Zabbix proxy configuration file will be stored on that boot partition. So boot partition is still sensitive, but we are, like, barely writing in. Okay, and that is everything. Finishing and rebooting. And now the first reboot, and after the reboot, like, the Raspberry Pi is now running in a read-only mode. Nobody can really kind of, like, crash the SD card. And let's do some benchmarking, like, you know, like, what's the normal speed of the SD card, and since the SD card will kind of use the speed of the RAM of the low power DDR4 memory, so that will be the speed of the SD card. Let's SSH into the Pi, Raspberry, and here you go. Like, if we write sudo df and h, we see there is some sort of overlay file system, which where available space is almost 4 gigabytes. So it is like limitation what you can possibly write, like Zabbix database. The proxy database is kind of limited here, but the big benefit is, like, it's not using the writes on the SD card, and there is 100 megabytes space for the logs, for the proxy, for the agent, and so yeah, it can last quite for some time. Let's do some benchmarking here by creating 3 gigabyte file on the file system. How long it should take? Enter. So now it's creating 3 gigabytes, and so the speed is, like, it's maybe the CPU also is used here, like reading the random data, and we see, like, speed is already 130 megabytes. Like, could you have an SD card with such speed, with the write speed, while writing the random? So that's quite a decent speed. And if I would write 0, which is, like, not consuming any CPU power, I think, let's try this one. And flushing disks with zeros, like, the speed is absolutely, like, crazy, like 600 megabytes per second. Like, that's probably, it outbeats the M2 drive for the Raspberry Pi 5. So it's quite a nice benefit. And if I would try to, like, install any package, it would take very fast. The operating system is ready here. Now the missing part in the Zabbix frontend, like what we need to think about when creating Zabbix proxy. Here, after the reboot, actually the proxy is running. If we look on the log, var log Zabbix proxy, we can see, like, the identity of proxy is this RPI BRX. So I need to create such proxy, and that is done administration proxies. Let's, like, click the button, create proxy. The proxy name is this, and that is everything, like the proxy name. And inside the data collection hosts, I will actually create this host object, create. The proxy title, selecting the actual proxy, which is RP proxy, and like proxies, and I have a host group Raspberry Pi Zabbix proxy, and interface is not required. What's required? We need to do the health monitoring, and the template is called like Zabbix proxy health. Like it's like I want to track the health of Zabbix proxy, and also like Linux by Zabbix agent active. Very efficient monitoring for the operating system layer. Okay, add this host RP. Did I miss something? New host. Okay, yeah, it already exists. Let's delete this old one. Okay. Let's delete the old one and actually rename this one to be that proxy. Okay, so this is best practice. Like we have two templates running on the proxy, Linux server monitoring and proxy health monitoring. And now, like to cover the topic about like remotely control the proxy. If I, since I did enable the root for agent and the proxy, if we would create some scripts here under the scripts, and I have free scripts already, all of them are targeting the group Raspberry Pi Zabbix proxy. And let's start with this Raspberry Pi show processes. If we open monitoring hosts, we click the button, and we have the button show processes. So we are using help of Zabbix proxy to launch like show the background, like how many Zabbix proxy processes are running, and we see like 5 trappers, 5 pollers. And the first real life challenge is like I want to sometimes fine tune the proxy, but I don't have access to the SSH. But we have this cron job running, which will detect when config is changing for the Pi. And the cron job in responsible is etc cron.d trigger Zabbix proxy. And currently, like every hour, it is checking. But I will set like let's check it every minute, just for the entertainment. Every minute, it will check the config. If I run this manually, like this, sudo and config, like nothing like happens. Something happened because the hash sum was not there, and it did restart the proxy already right now, but it will not restart the proxy next time. Status Zabbix proxy, and we can see like it's up for like few seconds, 17 seconds ago it's there. But the point is here, if we run again, it does nothing, but the cron job is trying to like check if the config is changed. And obviously, like all we need to do is like we can create here a script which is fine-tuning, for example, pollers. Out from the box we have 5 pollers, and like we have a command which is echo the line, and it's creating like a separate file which will hold the pollers. Let's see in practice. This was the tab and monitoring hosts, and let's at first like let's see cd boot firmware Zabbix proxy. Like what is here? Like in this directory, like there is one file which is having like the basic config. What I do remotely, I will like reinstall start pollers, click, and it will create remotely like completely new config inside that directory. This is the feedback. If I check here again, list start pollers is here, and if we see the timestamp, like after 4 seconds, if something is changed, it will restart the service. Let's see when is the last restart. Status Zabbix proxy, and we see last restart is 5 seconds ago. So this is the way how to maintain config for proxy or config for agent remotely. We have some sort of cron job who is checking when the stuff changes in the directory. If somebody, some third mean is changing the data, then it will restart the service. That is everything, I think. Let me see the cheat sheet actually. So we are setting the SD card in read-only mode. It's convenient to do some testing, like here in the proxy. If I would do apt install docker, and then the installation is like super fast, like it's like not doing any real writes to the SD card, and like you can download the containers, test the containers as long as we don't fulfill the lab. And if I reboot, like right now I can run docker run hello world, enter. What I did wrong, docker okay, apt install podman sudo. Yeah, the podman is existing, and now like it's super fast installation, and it's just installing extra stuff. And my point here is, after the reboot, these packages will be all gone, like all goes away, because it's still like read-only file system. Nobody is inserting new stuff inside that server. Okay, what's the downsides for this approach? Of course, like patching, like if we need to patch the operating system, then the order to do so is sudo raspi config, enter, go here, overlay file system, and we need to kind of, would you like to be enabled, and you say no, and then after the reboot it will remove this read-only flag. Then we can patch the like operating system, then enter this utility again and enable back flag, and then we can continue to use this thing. So I did not enable this time. That is everything. If you find this video useful, give it a thumbs up. Like this script, it's placed in the video description. And thanks for watching.